So today is an exciting day because I got the email from White Knuckle up in Apple Valley that my sliders are ready to get picked up. It's taken about 8 weeks for them to get made, which isn't bad, but I'm going to get them. Now, if you do not have KDSS, there's a lot of options available, some as cheap as like 300, 350 bucks for weld-on sliders. But for me, who has KDSS, it's a little tougher. And so these are practically reasonable. They're right about $500 if you don't get them powder coated. Let me show you what I'm working with. So on my truck right now, I just cut the side steps, right? Let me show you kind of briefly. So if you unbolt the bottom, you can keep this trim piece on. So I never actually took this piece off. You see how that moves? That's the top of the side steps. So a lot of people take them all off and trim it and put it back on. If you take this piece off, it looks very unfinished. So I kept that on, cut it actually with it on the vehicle, and then back to here. This came down to like here. So I just took a Dremel tool, like I saw a lot of people doing, and then cut this to shape it, and then hopefully the white knuckle sliders will fit. If not, I'll have to trim this a little more. But yeah, so with that, I'm gonna hop in the car. Let's take a ride up to Apple Valley and let's see how these sliders look. All right, so I just got to White Knuckle and the sliders are loaded. You can see them in the back, just waiting for me to install them. You see them? So yeah, so now I head back home. Here we go. Alright, so I just got home. Buddy's coming over in a little bit to help me install them, but I thought I'd take a moment before I show you the install, which hopefully goes well. I have no idea what's going to happen. But before we do that, I wanted to kind of walk you through a few things. First, why did I pick sliders in general? Why did I make that investment? Because it's not exactly cheap. It's not super expensive, but it's not exactly cheap either. So why did I pick sliders? And then secondly, how did I spec mine out? Because there's all sorts of different options. So let me walk you through those things real quick. First of all, I chose to do sliders for 3 main reasons. First of all, it's super cheap insurance, right? Because these bolt onto the sides, they bolt on right into the frame. And when you are rock crawling, which happens all the time out here in Southern California, regardless of what trail you're going on, you're bound to hit times where there are rocky areas that, man, are a little spicy at times. So it's cheap insurance. Either the rock impacts your sliders, which they're meant to do, or the rock impacts your door frame or the surround around your door. If it hits that and crushes that in, your door may not even work or open, or it won't close while you're on the trail. So that's gonna be a fun thing to figure out. But when you get home, it's gonna cost you potentially thousands of dollars worth of damage to get that fixed. It's gonna be a pain in the butt. These sliders were like $550, $600. So think of it that way. It's a deductible to protect your car. So 1, it's cheap insurance. 2, it's a jack point. This is less so for me, but whether you use a bottle jack or a high lift jack or one of those fancy schmancy ARB guys, it's an easy jack point. You don't have to crawl underneath the car and hit up your differential. You can just jack up right to the sliders, and it's a strong jack point to lift your car in a recovery situation. So 1, it's cheap insurance. 2, a jack point. And number 3, which is actually funny in my case, but once I cut my side steps off, my kids and my wife had to jump up into the car and jump down out of the car. And at some point, my wife looks at me and she goes, "Can you just get sliders so I have a side step to get in and out of the vehicle?" And, you know, as a good, loving husband, my response was obviously, "Of course, babe, I'll do it for you." So that's the 3 reasons I got these sliders. 1, cheap insurance. 2, as a jack point. And 3, for my wife to get in and out of the vehicle, as well as my kids. Now, how did I spec out these sliders? I decided to get them powder coated because from White Knuckle, they use a powder coater down the street. It was easy, it's done. I can pick them up powder coated, and it wasn't that much money. It was actually cheaper than I can get it powder coated myself by a pretty significant margin. And I don't want to take the time to prep and, you know, all the layers of spray paint and bed liner or whatever you do. And I kept on hearing that powder coat actually seals it as well. That sometimes when you spray paint them with bed liner or whatever kind of stuff you use, Raptor or Line-X or whatever, that it doesn't completely seal it. And so powder coat it first, and then you can touch up with bed liner. So that's the way I went. So I got them powder coated. I went with DOM instead of H-Rue. I think H-Rue is what I think it was called. So DOM is significantly stronger. It's not that much more money. I think it was like $100 more, $75 more, something like that. So I decided to go with that. What I kept on hearing was, you're probably okay with H-Rue, but if you hit it hard once and it bends, you're really gonna wish you got DOM. So I'm like, hey, 75 bucks. That's a tank of gas. I'll just go DOM. And then the third option was if you want it flat or if you want it with an 11-degree angle. I chose to go 11-degree angle because if I hit a rock, I want to slide off. I don't want to just hang out there. So that's what I decided. Now we'll put them on, and I might put them on and go, dang, I wish I would have gotten flat ones. But from what I've seen online and looked at a lot of pictures, I like the look actually of the 11-degree angle as well. So that's why I pick sliders in the first place, and that's how I spec'd mine out. Now, as far as why I chose White Knuckle, it was really simple. The one reason is they're one of very few companies that make bolt-on KDSS compatible sliders. And that's just the joy of having a KDSS vehicle. So they're one of the very few options. And then two, everyone on the forums say that they rock. I couldn't find one person that had a bad experience. And then today when I picked it up, met some of the team that works at White Knuckle, and they're just top-notch, great people, super kind, super patient, super helpful. So yeah, so that's why I went that route. If you have any questions, go ahead and put in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer and help in any way that I can. But let's go ahead and see how these things are to install. All right, so we got the sliders. White Knuckle off-road. Overall, they look great. No problems. All the tools laid out. Jimmy support. We can do this. The only thing I noticed on this one was they're scuffed right here, but that's one rock's worth, not a big deal. Other than that, they look pretty great. They're super heavy. So now to the install. Okay, we got the first side. We start with the passenger side because it's easier, so we can learn on it. Essentially, it's in. Let me show you how this thing installs. Let's see here. So on this side, there's 3 U-bolts that go around the frame. 1. Wow, where is it? 2, 3. This one was a little more challenging because of the space right there. So you want to start with that one. That's a locking nylon nut. Start with that one first. So we put them up on jack stands to place them in the right place. Put that one in, and you want to do washer, locking washer, and then nut. So these are 3/4 inch, or I believe a 19 mil may work as well. So my buddy's going to get his wrench from home. But I'm going to snug all this stuff up on this side. If you want kind of spacing wise, here's kind of where we set it. Kind of like that back part level with the back of the well, and the other one kind of going up front. So that's kind of the spacing. You kind of see what it looks like. So I'm going to snug these up, and then we'll get going on the driver's side. Okay, update on the joy that is the driver's side. Let me show you what's going on over here. All right. So over here, found advice on the forums. We got a ratchet strap pulling away the KDSS lines. making you this video because couldn't find another video showing this. So there is the bolt. Needs to go around these KDSS lines. Why is that not showing? So those KDSS lines need to be pulled away. That's why we got the ratchet straps pulling them away. And then start on this side for sure, and then I'll show you the back here. The back, you need to unbolt. Let's see if this is a better angle. Nope. Unbolt a couple of lines back here. Unclip at the very top of this frame are brake lines with this clip. You need to take this out so the brake lines are free. When you put in this U-bolt, make sure the U is facing to the rear of the truck. Slide it up and then over. It's the only way it'll do it. And then this goes around these KDSS lines, this little notch here. So that's our update right now. We'll see what's going on in a little bit. Okay, we're almost done. We're tightening stuff up. Last thing I just wanted to show you real quick that we found out hard. Okay, so this driver's side bracket, you see the bolt on the right hand side. Loosen that so that that brake line can go through the hole in the slider. That's what it's for. I don't know if you can see that well. Or else it rubs on the top end and it's sharp, so that way it doesn't get, you know, cuts up and stuff. So essentially, we just gotta tighten it up, but let me show you what it looks like. If you can see in the dark, look pretty slick, pretty clean. So yeah, well done. Well done, Jimmy.
Thank you.
There you go, White Knuckle sliders.